a Barlow Cabernet Red from Calistoga here. So that'll have a little bit of Merlot mixed in there as well, but it's a nice mix of the Cabernet and Merlot here.
Yeah.
We also do have a local wine favorite here. This is going to be the Ghost Block Sauvignon Blanc. This is picked here in town near a cemetery. Hence the name Ghost Block. It's a nice little play on words that they have for that. It's a nice crisp wine that's not too fruit forward, so it's a nice for a warmer day like this. And then for our sparkling wine, we do have our Brut Sparkling from Napa Valley.
We get one toasted English muffin with English muffin.
Yeah, I didn't even see this.
What was that? Yeah. Maybe you want to eat this.
No, this is you. What?
¿Cuánto tienes? Buenos días.
A little bit more body than the Sauv Blanc, and you kind of get more notes of like florals and tropical fruit rather than like the kind of more citrus of the. And we serve this Blanc very chilled, but I believe it's the Viognier that gives it a characteristic that as it warms in the glass, the flavor will change. And I honestly like it even more after a good 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Former bank and that meeting. And when he so he didn't take advantage except in London. I told you about the transfer which are tended for payments in
So you guys noticed when you guys came through the entrance, you had to get through 2 gates to get to us. And that's because here we have black bears, mountain lions, bobcats, wild boar, turkey, quail, and they will eat our grapes. So that's why we have to do the fencing. So it's not just like a flex, you know. I mean, it's a little bit of a flex. The week of harvest, on the other side of that hill's a fence, and at nighttime, a black bear climbed to the fence and just gorged on cat grapes twice in 1 week. So it's very much a reality state. That's actually when we learned that different wildlife actually has preferences of different grape varietals. The bear came back twice and only touched the cap. Sauvignon Blanc, we actually have to cover up in certain parts of our property with netting. These wild turkeys love Sauvignon Blanc, which is ironic because they actually pair really well together. As far as the story of this and how the whole place came to be, our owner's name is KENZO Sujimoto. He's the founder of a company called Capcom, which is a
video game company.
Yes, a very famous one. Yeah, a Street Fighter, Mega Man, Resident Evil. Yep, paid for all of this. The land was acquired in 1990. Time prior to that, this was an equestrian center called Wild Horse Ranch, so it was actually a training facility for the United States Olympic team. There's still some stables on the south side of the property. This is a little sparkling to start things off. This is called Suzu. All the wines have Japanese names. around the mid 90s when he bought this land, it just so happened that the Japanese market was doing exceptionally well, and in turn there was this really big arrival of fine dining cuisine from Europe, so a lot of French and Italian foods. And Kenzo's actually a really big fan of fine dining. He's one of the original investors of the French Laundry, so he's actually a huge fan of fine dining. Yeah, so as he's going back and forth, all of a sudden back home, he's seeing wine lists, like legit wine lists. And he's like, great, but it was just Europe. There was nothing from Napa yet. And so as a businessman, he goes, okay, well, Napa's going to blow up soon enough, so I'm going to get ahead of the game and introduce the Japanese market to these wines. So that's what we do. Around 80% of our entire production goes to Japan. We also have a restaurant that's right in downtown called KENZO Napa. So it's KENZO State, that's KENZO Napa. It's a very traditional kaiseki restaurant. And the chefs who are all from Japan live here too. We're just starting to enter what's referred to that veraison time when the grapes are starting to turn from green to those darker hues. Because we're at this higher elevation. Yeah, 1 year, was it 3 years ago, we saw 7 inches in one day. It's looking snow. On the ground there, we do what's called dropping season, where we want to maximize the flavor of the individual clusters. And so we limit the amount of fruit that we allow to grow on the vine after a certain point. It's all here, not up here, is because this is what gets the primary flow of moisture and nutrients is at the bottom, because it travels upward, you know. So that's why if you look up here, these are less developed. On average, we'll get about 1 bottle per plant for the reds and 2 bottles for the whites. So here's a little anatomy lesson review. This is your trunk or scion here, your main branch. And then you get your horizontal branches. So this is a cane, and we have 2 of them, one on each side. And this is a branch that's over 1 year old. And then everything going vertically here, these are all shoots. These are all under a year old. So what you're used to seeing when you see grapevines in general is it's called cordon, when these 2 horizontal branches here are much more kind of thick and gnarly looking and form that classic T shape. And we don't do that here for longevity purposes. So what happens is that we'll start picking grapes in about 2 weeks. So the grapes will be gone, and then November comes, leaves will drop, and then January starts, and it's pruning season, where we chop things back to make space for next spring. And what happens in the case of cordon, when you have the thick branches, they don't go anywhere. So when you prune, the cuts are all across the top, and it's 10 to 11 cuts, and it's 10 to 11 wounds, and that's the problem. These plants actually get really sick very, very easily. And we want these to last over 100 years. So what we do is we do something completely different, where if you take a look, you see how this branch here is the lowest right there? And there's your cane. So what we'll do is we'll go all the way down here and we'll cut the cane right above it, removing all of this in one cut. This is all that'll be left over. So then we'll bend it and then we'll tape it. And then this will become that next year. And we do it every single year. So these are never going to get taller, they're just going to get thicker and thicker.
Wow. Oh my God, I can smell it.
You can smell. Nice, right?
Yeah.
What we're standing right by here is brand new barrels. We just got these in. We use exclusively French oak. And we rely on a diverse selection of cooperages. The reason why you can find caves are all of Napa is because of how efficient these spaces are under the earth. It is consistent, doesn't change, and it's natural. And here it's always around 65 degrees Fahrenheit and 75% humidity, and we do not have air conditioning or heaters or humidifiers. Wow. So it doesn't matter if it's snowing or if it's 110 degrees outside, and we see pretty much both every year. Now, you mentioned the aroma here. That smells really great. And what that is that, obviously you're talking about a lot of French oak, but it's also the fact that the wood is porous. Every barrel, every month, loses 2 full bottles of wine from just evaporation. And so every barrel being for 20 months, there's about 1,500 barrels currently filled with wine. So you're looking 3,000 bottles of wine lost every month in this cave just from evaporation. Hence the amazing aroma. So the juice, this is all the same juice in this space here. This is all the 2024. The CS is Cabernet Sauvignon, and then Press is the parcel of land which we picked from. And then 20 months of aging in slightly different barrels, it will slightly change the flavor, and then we'll make blends based on these variations. So you see here it says M, that's a medium toast. And then next to it, over there, these 2 are medium plus toasts. And then as we continue on to left here, there's H for heavy toast. And that's reference to time and heat. So the wood will be stood up and they'll start a fire down the center and then expose it to intense heat. For your mediums, you're looking at about 40 minutes. This gets to about 50 minutes. And then for the heavies, it's around an hour. And what's released from the wood is these really unique combination of essential oils and acids that give off those distinct flavors. And that is just for white oak. Then you get to your medium pluses, and this is when, because it's carbon based, it actually really caramelizes. So it becomes caramel, butterscotch, molasses, brown sugar, dried fruit sweetness, and cocoa. And then you get to the heavies, and then it's no more vanilla or spice. What you are getting is tobacco, leather, toasted coffee, espresso bean. So as a winemaker, you have to decide which of these flavor combinations both speaks most to your palate and think that your clients will enjoy most. So that's why this is as much art as it is science. You should look at these a lot like it's kind of like a tea bag. Each time you use it, it's going to give you less and less flavor. So by the third time, last time, it doesn't give any flavors at all, which we do intentionally. If you do nothing but brand new barrels, you're exposing your juice to a full blast of toast, which makes for a very bold wine. Once again, we focus on balance here. So that's why we like the 50-50 instead. It's more approachable. The wood comes from trees that are 120 years old, and you can only make 2 barrels per tree.
2 barrels per tree.
There's a whole forest in here. That means that you have a barrel that at base price, these ones are about $1,200 a barrel. These ones, which is from, this has the done chemical analysis, has a diverse array of flavors, which makes it more delicious. These are about $1,400, which is why you get the black rings to make you feel better about spending money.
Oh, wow.
They're not even our most expensive barrels. I'll show you those actually.
That's crazy.
It's just over here actually. These ones, the T5, these are our most expensive barrels. These were made by a master barrel maker. What happens is when they cut down the tree and they form the lumber, they'll put it outside to dry. The longer the wood dries outside, the more expressive it is when it's toasted. So on average, all of the wood in this cave dried outside for 2 years. This one sat out for 5 years. And this is also a tear sew, just like that one. Yeah, and so if I describe this also, if you notice there's no marking of toast on this, like that has a medium plus, but there's nothing here, you do not get to pick a toast. This was that person's special craft, but it leans towards heavy. These are about $3,300 a barrel. Now the reds, the names are right at the base here of the stemware. It makes things a little bit more seamless. These are all blends, and these are all the 2021 vintage. On the left is Rindo, which is named after the Japanese flower, and it translates to the gentian flower. This is a true broad blend. We have 5 different black grapes we grow on the property, and all 5 are found in that class. So it's mostly Cab and Merlot, but a small percentage of Petit Verdot, Cab Franc, Malbec. The middle wine is called Murasaki, which translates to purple. In Japanese culture, purple is the color of royalty. And the reason why we chose that color is because KENZO grew up in the Nara prefecture, which historically has been known for textiles. KENZO's wife Natsuko named some of these other colors because of that fact. Finally, in the large glass, that is I. I being, well, love, but it's a play on words. When we say IE, it is the color indigo, that deeper blue, which is also the color of Cabernet grapes. And the I is our Cabernet focus blend. The way that I would recommend approaching this tasting is going from your traditional left to right, having a taste of each of these just once, and then from there kind of hopping around as you like. I would also highly recommend being patient with the I. In my opinion, it is the most age-worthy of the wines we do produce. So initially it is a little quiet. So we'll go through the most changes out of all of these.
I think this is my style.
I can already smell the citrus.
Picasso, Chagall, Matisse, and others like that down there. So that's